The alarm went off at 3 in the morning. Captain Lisa Grant woke up in her small quarters on the space station and knew something was wrong. Alarms at this hour meant trouble, big trouble. She pulled on her uniform and ran to the command center. The hallways were empty and quiet. Most of the crew was still sleeping. When she reached the control room, she found Lieutenant Gary Pierce sitting at his station. His face was white as a sheet. "What is it?" she asked. Gary turned his screen toward her. "Captain, we have a problem, a big one. The Galactic Council just sent an emergency message. They want to talk to you right now." Lisa looked at the message. Her stomach dropped. The Council never called at this hour unless something terrible had happened. She sat down in her chair and told Gary to put the call through. A face appeared on the main screen. It was Ambassador Kelvin Shaw, a human who worked with the alien governments. He looked tired and worried. "Lisa," Kelvin said, "we need to talk about the new ships." Lisa felt her heart beat faster. The new ships. He was talking about Earth's latest invention. 3 months ago, human scientists had discovered how to use dark matter as fuel. Dark matter was the invisible stuff that filled most of the universe. Nobody could see it or touch it, but it was everywhere. And now humans had figured out how to use it to make ships go really, really fast. "What about them?" Lisa asked. Kelvin rubbed his eyes. "The Council is scared. They want you to stop building the ships. They want all the dark matter technology destroyed." Lisa stared at him. "Destroyed? But why? We shared all our research with them. We showed them how safe it is." "Safe is not the word they would use," Kelvin said. "Lisa, there is something you need to know. Something the Council has kept secret for a very long time." He sent her a file. Lisa opened it on her computer. Inside were old records, very old records. They were written in different alien languages, but her computer translated them into English. 3,000 years ago, there was a race called the Architects. They were smart, maybe smarter than any race alive today. They built cities on 100 worlds. They created technology that seemed like magic. And then one day, they discovered dark matter. Lisa read faster. The Architects had done the same thing humans did. They found a way to use dark matter as fuel. They built ships that could cross the galaxy in days instead of years. Everyone thought they would rule the stars forever. But then strange things started happening. Ships disappeared. Whole colonies went silent. People reported hearing voices in their heads, voices that came from nowhere, voices that spoke in languages nobody understood. Within 50 years, the Architects were gone, every single one of them. Their planets were empty. Their cities stood silent. Their ships floated in space with nobody on board. The only thing they left behind was a warning. Lisa found the warning at the end of the file. It was recorded in 37 different languages. The translation was simple and terrifying. "Those who touch the dark will be touched by darkness." She looked up at Kelvin. "You are saying that dark matter killed them." "We do not know what killed them," Kelvin said. "But the Council made a law after the Architects vanished. Any race that develops dark matter technology must be stopped, by any means necessary." Lisa felt cold. Any means necessary, that meant war. That meant the alien fleets would come to Earth and destroy everything. "How long do we have?" she asked. "Not long," Kelvin said. "Commander Helen Chase is already moving battle groups toward human space. She has orders to quarantine Earth if you do not shut down the dark matter program." "Lisa, I have known you for 6 years. I trust you. But the Council is terrified. You need to convince them that human dark matter technology is different from what the Architects had." "How do we do that?" Lisa asked. Kelvin thought for a moment. "There is one person who might help. Her name is Solara. She is a scientist from the Vrexian Empire. She has spent her whole life studying the Architects. If anyone can tell the difference between our technology and theirs, it is her." "Can you get her here?" Lisa asked. "She is already on her way," Kelvin said. "But Lisa, you need to understand something. If Solara says your technology is the same as the Architects, the Council will not hesitate. They will destroy every dark matter ship humanity has built, and they will make sure you never build another one." The call ended. Lisa sat in her chair and tried to think. Around her, the space station hummed with quiet activity. Out the window, she could see Earth floating in the distance. It looked so peaceful from up here. So safe, but she knew that could change in a matter of days. Gary was still at his station. "Captain, what do we do?" Lisa stood up. Get me Dr. Frank Torres, wake him up if you have to, and tell the crew we have a situation. Frank Torres was the scientist who invented the dark matter drive. He was brilliant but difficult. He did not like being told what to do. He especially did not like being woken up in the middle of the night. When he arrived at the command center 20 minutes later, his hair was a mess and he was drinking coffee. What is so important that it could not wait until morning, he asked. Lisa handed him the file Kelvin had sent. Read this. Frank read in silence. His face went from annoyed to concerned to scared. When he finished, he looked up at Lisa. This is about the architects. You knew about them, Lisa said. It was not a question. Frank nodded. I read about them when I started researching dark matter. But Captain, our technology is completely different. The architects used a frequency of 7.3 terahertz. We use 9.2. That is a huge difference. Is it enough of a difference? Lisa asked. Frank hesitated. I think so, but I cannot be sure. Nobody knows exactly what happened to the architects. If dark matter really is dangerous, we might not find out until it is too late. A voice spoke from the doorway. Then we need to find out before it is too late. Lisa turned. A woman stood there. She was tall and thin, with skin that looked like it was made of crystal. Light bent around her in strange ways, creating rainbow patterns on the walls. She had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern on her face. I am Solara, the woman said. Her voice came from a small device on her chest. It translated her clicking sounds into English. Ambassador Shaw asked me to come quickly. I see the situation is as serious as he said. Lisa stood up. Thank you for coming so fast. Dr. Torres says our dark matter technology is different from the architects. Can you verify that? Solara moved closer. Her 4 eyes studied Frank. Show me your work, show me everything. They went to the engineering lab. It was a large room full of computers and machines. In the center was the prototype dark matter drive. It looked like a sphere made of black glass. Energy rippled across its surface in waves. Frank explained how it worked. We create a containment field using electromagnetic pulses. Then we inject dark matter particles into the field. When we adjust the frequency, the dark matter releases energy. We use that energy to power the ship. Solara walked around the device. Her colors changed as she moved, shifting from blue to green to purple. What frequency do you use for the containment field? 9.2 terahertz, Frank said. Solara stopped moving. The architects use 7.3. Yes, Frank said, that is why our system is safe. Solara turned all 4 eyes toward him. You think a different frequency makes you safe. But do you know why the architects used 7.3? Frank shook his head. Because that is the natural frequency of dark matter life, Solara said. The room went silent. Lisa felt her blood turn cold. Dark matter life. Living things made of dark matter. That is impossible, Frank said. Life requires chemical reactions. It requires atoms and molecules. Dark matter does not interact with normal matter that way. You are thinking like a human, Solara said, like someone who only knows one kind of life. But the universe is stranger than you imagine. The architects discovered that dark matter has its own structure, its own patterns, and some of those patterns are alive. She touched the dark matter drive with one long finger. When the architects activated their drives at 7.3 terahertz, they created a resonance, like ringing a bell. The dark matter entities heard it and they came to investigate. What happened then? Lisa asked. Solara's colors dimmed. We do not know exactly. The records are unclear, but the architects tried to capture the entities. They wanted to study them, control them, use them as a power source. The entities did not like that. So the entities destroyed them, Lisa said. Solara nodded. Every last one, and they left a warning for anyone else who might try the same thing. Frank was shaking his head, but our frequency is different. We are using 9.2, not 7.3. We should not be creating the same resonance. Should not, Solara agreed. But do you know what frequency the dark matter entities use at 9.2 terahertz? Do you know if there are other entities, different ones, that might respond to your frequency? Frank had no answer. Lisa stepped forward. Is there a way to test this, to find out if our technology is attracting these entities? Solara thought for a long time. There is one place, the Erebus Rift. It is a region of space where dark matter is very concentrated. The architects had a research station there. It was studying dark matter when they vanished. The council sealed the area 3,000 years ago. Nobody is allowed to go there. Why not? Gary asked. He had followed them to the lab. Because bad things happen to ships that go there, Solara said. We have sent research teams over the centuries. Most do not come back. The ones that do come back changed. They report strange visions, voices in their heads, some go mad. But if we went there, Lisa said, we could compare our dark matter signatures with what the architects left behind. We could see if we are making the same mistakes they did. Yes, Solara said, but you would be risking your lives. And if your technology really is attracting the dark matter entities, going to the Erebus Rift would be like walking into their home and ringing a very loud bell. Lisa looked at her crew. Frank was scared but trying to hide it. Gary looked young and uncertain, but she also saw determination in their eyes. They knew what was at stake. How long before Commander Chase arrives with her battle groups? Lisa asked. For days, Gary said. Maybe 5 if we are lucky. And how long to reach the Erebus Rift? Lisa asked. Solara checked her device. 2 days with a fast ship. But Captain, the Council will not approve this mission. If you go to the rift without permission, it will be seen as an act of defiance. Lisa made her decision. Then we do not ask for permission. We go now before anyone can stop us. If we can prove our technology is safe, the Council will have no reason to destroy it. And if we are wrong, if our dark matter drives really are dangerous, then we shut them down ourselves. Frank nodded. I will prepare the prototype drive for transport. Gary was already at a computer. I will file a flight plan, something that will not attract attention. Solara's colors brightened. You are brave, Captain Grant, or foolish, perhaps both. I will come with you. Someone needs to make sure you do not accidentally start a war with beings that exist outside normal space. They worked through the night. Lisa contacted Kelvin and told him what they were planning. He did not like it, but he agreed to cover for them as long as he could. He would tell the Council that Lisa was running tests on the dark matter drive. That would buy them maybe 2 days before someone got suspicious. By dawn, they were ready. Lisa's ship was called the Horizon's Edge. It was a science vessel built for long-range exploration. It had good sensors and a strong hull. More importantly, it was fast. They loaded the prototype dark matter drive into the cargo bay. Frank and his assistant, Karen White, secured it carefully. Karen was a quiet woman who rarely spoke, but she knew the dark matter technology as well as Frank did. The crew assembled on the bridge. Besides Lisa, Frank, Karen, Gary, and Solara, there were 10 other people on board. Engineers, scientists, and security officers. Lisa had picked people she trusted. People who would not panic when things got strange. All stations report ready, Gary said. Lisa sat in the captain's chair. Take us out. Set course for the Erebus Rift. Maximum speed. The Horizon's Edge detached from the space station and accelerated into deep space. Behind them, Earth grew smaller. Ahead, the stars beckoned. And somewhere in the darkness between the stars, ancient entities waited. The journey took 2 days, just as Solara had predicted. They traveled through empty space, far from any inhabited systems. Lisa spent most of the time reviewing everything they knew about the architects. It was not much. The architects had been gone for 3,000 years. In that time, other races had risen and fallen, but nobody had forgotten the architects. Their ruins still dotted the galaxy. Their technology still puzzled scientists, and their warning still scared anyone who thought about playing with dark matter. On the second day, Solara came to see Lisa on the bridge. The Vrexian scientist had been spending most of her time in the lab with Frank and Karen, studying the dark matter drive. We are getting close to the rift, Solara said. You should know what to expect. Lisa gestured to a chair. Tell me. Solara sat down. Her crystal skin reflected the light from the view screen. The Erebus Rift is not like normal space. Dark matter is usually invisible and spread out evenly, but in the rift it clumps together, creates patterns. Your sensors will not work properly there. You might see things that are not real, or not see things that are. What kind of things? Lisa asked. Shapes in the darkness, lights that move on their own. Some crews reported hearing voices, others saw visions of their past. The dark matter concentrations can affect your brain in strange ways. Are those effects dangerous? Lisa asked. Solara's colors dimmed. They can be. Some crews never recovered. They spent the rest of their lives seeing things that were not there, hearing voices that only they could hear. That is why the council sealed the area. Lisa nodded slowly. I will warn the crew. Thank you for telling me. Solara stood up. Captain Grant, why are you doing this? You could have destroyed the dark matter drives, avoided all this trouble. Why risk your life for a technology that might be cursed? Lisa thought about the question, because humans do not give up easily. We spent centuries dreaming of reaching the stars. When we finally got there, we found a galaxy full of older, smarter races. They had technology we could not imagine, but we kept learning, kept pushing forward. The dark matter drive is our chance to stand equal with everyone else. I will not throw that away without being absolutely sure it is dangerous. Solara's colors shifted to a warm gold. That is a very human answer, brave and stubborn at the same time. I hope your stubbornness does not get us all killed. 6 hours later, they reached the Erebus Rift. Lisa was on the bridge when the sensors started going crazy. The view screen showed something that made her breath catch. Space ahead of them was wrong. That was the only word for it. Instead of stars, there was a vast darkness that seemed to swallow light. It was not just black. It was an absence of everything, like looking at a hole in reality. Captain Gary said, his voice shaking. The sensors are showing dark matter concentrations at levels that should not be possible. It is like all the dark matter in this region of space has gathered into one place. Can you find the architect's station? Lisa asked. Gary worked his controls. The sensors kept flickering on and off. I think so. There is a structure about 1,000,000 kilometers ahead. It is orbiting a collapsed star. Take us in, Lisa ordered, slowly, and everyone stay alert. The horizon's edge moved forward into the darkness. As they got closer to the rift, Lisa started feeling strange. It was like a pressure building in her head, not painful but noticeable. She looked around and saw the crew feeling it too. Frank came up from the cargo bay. Captain, the dark matter drive is acting weird. It is activated, but we did not turn it on. Can you shut it down? Lisa asked. Frank shook his head. The controls are not responding. It is like something else is controlling it. Solara arrived on the bridge at a run. Her colors were flashing between red and purple. Captain, we need to leave. Now, the dark matter entities know we are here. How do you know? Lisa asked. Because I can feel them watching us, Solara said. Her 4 eyes were wide with fear. They are all around us. In the dark matter, they are curious about why we came here. Lisa felt the pressure in her head increase. And then she heard it, a voice, not speaking out loud but directly in her mind. It was not using words exactly, more like thoughts pressed directly into her brain. Why have you come to this place? Lisa looked at her crew. They had all heard it too. Gary was gripping his console. Frank had gone pale. Even Solara looked terrified. The dark matter entities were real. They were here and they were talking to her. Lisa took a deep breath. She knew what she had to do. Someone had to answer them. Someone had to try and communicate. She closed her eyes and thought as clearly as she could. We came to learn. We created technology that uses dark matter. We want to know if it is safe. We do not want to repeat the mistakes of the architects. The response came immediately. You are not like them. Your frequency is different. You do not seek to trap us. Why? Because we do not even know you exist, Lisa thought back. We are just trying to travel faster to explore the galaxy. We did not know there was life in dark matter. There was a long pause. Lisa felt the entities thinking, considering. The pressure in her head grew stronger. The others tried to understand us, the voice said. They built machines to study us, to capture us, to use us as fuel for their civilization. We defended ourselves. They did not stop. So we removed them. Lisa felt a chill. So it was true. The dark matter entities had destroyed the architects, not out of evil but in self-defense. We do not want to capture you, Lisa thought. We just want to pass through dark matter space safely. Is that possible with our technology? Another pause. Then the voice spoke again. Your frequency does not harm us. It does not call to us the way the architect's frequency did. You may use your dark matter drives, but you must promise something. What? Lisa asked. Do not try to study us. Do not try to trap us. Do not try to understand us beyond what is necessary for your travel. We exist in dimensions you cannot perceive. If you respect our boundaries, we will not interfere with you. If you cross those boundaries as the architects did, we will defend ourselves again. Lisa opened her eyes. The crew was watching her. They had all heard the conversation somehow. The dark matter entities had made sure everyone understood. I promise, Lisa thought. Humanity will respect your boundaries. We will use dark matter for travel only, nothing more. The pressure in Lisa's head suddenly released. The dark matter drive in the cargo bay powered down. The sensors returned to normal, and in her mind she felt something like approval. Then go, the voice said. Tell the others what you have learned. Tell them that we are not their enemy, but tell them also that we will not tolerate being treated as a resource to be exploited. The presence faded. Lisa slumped in her chair, suddenly exhausted. Around her, the crew was doing the same thing. The encounter had drained them all. Gary was the first to speak. Captain, did that really just happen? Did we just talk to beings made of dark matter? Yes, Lisa said, and they gave us permission to use our dark matter drives, as long as we respect their rules. Solara was staring at her instruments in disbelief. In 3,000 years, no one has successfully communicated with the dark matter entities. No one has received permission from them. This changes everything. Frank looked shaken but excited. We have proof. Proof that our technology is different from the architects. The council will have to accept it now. Lisa nodded. Gary, record everything that happened here. Every sensor reading, every communication. We need to show the council exactly what we learned. Already on it, Gary said. Lisa stood up and looked at the view screen. Architect Station was visible now, a massive ring orbiting a dead star. It looked abandoned and lonely. A monument to a civilization that had pushed too far. Set course back to human space, she ordered. Maximum speed. We have a lot of people to convince. The horizon's edge turned away from the Erebus Rift and accelerated toward home. Behind them, the darkness watched them go. The dark matter entities had made their decision. Humanity would be allowed to travel through their realm, but they would be watching. Always watching. The journey back took another 2 days. This time, Lisa did not rest. She spent every waking hour preparing her report for the Galactic Council. She had to explain everything that happened at the Erebus Rift. She had to convince them that humanity's dark matter technology was safe. Frank and Corinne worked with Solara to analyze the data. They compared the frequency patterns of the human dark matter drive with the records of architect technology. The differences were clear. Humanity was using a completely different approach. Gary coordinated with Ambassador Kelvin. The ambassador had managed to delay Commander Chase's battle groups, but time was running out. They had maybe one more day before the alien fleets arrived at Earth. On the morning of the 3rd day, the horizon's edge entered human space. Lisa was on the bridge, reviewing her presentation one more time. She knew this would be the most important speech of her life. Captain, Gary said. We are receiving a transmission from the council. They are ordering us to appear before them immediately. Lisa took a deep breath. Tell them we are on our way. The council chambers were on a massive space station called Unity. It orbited a neutral star halfway between human space and the heart of the Galactic Council. 43 different alien species had representatives there. When Lisa entered the main hall, she saw hundreds of beings watching her. Some were humanoid. Others were so alien she could barely understand how they perceived the world. But all of them looked worried. Some looked angry. Commander Helen Chase was there. The Corvaxian military leader stood at attention, her scaled skin gleaming under the lights. She did not look happy to see Lisa. The High Counselor, a wise old being from the Meridian species, spoke first. Captain Grant, you have committed a serious violation. You traveled to the Erebus Rift without authorization. You activated dark matter technology in a forbidden zone. Explain yourself. Lisa stood in the center of the chamber. She felt small under all those eyes, but she also felt determined. I went to the Erebus Rift to find the truth, she said. You told us that dark matter technology was forbidden because of what happened to the architects. You said any species that developed such technology must be stopped, but you never explained why. You never gave us a chance to prove that our technology is different. The counselor's expression did not change. The architects were destroyed by their dark matter experiments. That is all the explanation needed. No, Lisa said, that is not enough. We needed to know what really happened, so we went to the source. We went to the place where the architects made first contact with the dark matter entities. A murmur ran through the chamber. Several aliens leaned forward in their seats. Lisa continued. We discovered that the dark matter entities are real. They exist in dimensions we cannot normally perceive. The architects made contact with them just as we did, but the architects tried to capture them, to study them, to use them as a resource. The entities defended themselves. They removed the architect civilization to protect their own existence. The chamber erupted in noise. Aliens spoke in dozens of different languages. The counselor raised one hand and the room fell silent. "You claim you spoke with these entities," the counselor said. "How is this possible? No one has communicated with them in 3,000 years. Solara stood up from where she had been sitting. "High Counselor, I was there. I witnessed the communication. Captain Grant is telling the truth. The dark matter entities spoke to us. They explained what happened to the architects. And they gave humanity permission to use dark matter technology as long as certain conditions are met." The counselor looked at Solara for a long moment. "You are a respected scientist, Solara. Your word carries weight, but this is an extraordinary claim. What conditions did these entities demand?" Lisa answered. "They want us to respect their boundaries. We can use dark matter for propulsion and energy, but we cannot try to study the entities themselves. We cannot try to capture them or exploit them. If we agree to these terms, they will not interfere with us." Commander Chase spoke for the first time. "And if humanity breaks these terms, what then?" "Then they will defend themselves," Lisa said, "just as they did with the architects, but we have no intention of breaking these terms. We understand now what the architects did wrong. We will not repeat their mistakes." The counselor was silent for a long time. Finally, he spoke. "This is unprecedented. If what you say is true, it changes everything we thought we knew about dark matter. But how can we trust that humanity will keep its word?" "Because we have to," Lisa said. "We know what happens if we do not. We have seen the ruins of the architect civilization. We have heard their warning, we understand the stakes, and we are willing to share everything we learned with the Council. Every species should have the chance to develop dark matter technology safely if they choose to do so." Another murmur ran through the chamber. This time it sounded different, less afraid, more interested. The counselor looked around at the assembled aliens. "We will need time to consider this. The Council will review your data and your testimony. In the meantime, Commander Chase, you are ordered to withdraw your battle groups from human space." Commander Chase nodded. "As you command, High Counselor." Lisa felt relief wash over her. They had done it. They had bought time for humanity. Time to prove that their dark matter technology was safe. The hearing adjourned. As Lisa left the chamber, Kelvin met her in the hallway. "That was incredible," he said. "You actually convinced them to listen." "For now," Lisa said, "but we still have work to do. We need to prove that we can use dark matter responsibly. That means establishing protocols, safety measures, ways to make sure we never cross the boundaries the entities set." Frank and Corinne joined them. "We can do that," Frank said. "Now that we understand the risks, we can build safeguards into every dark matter drive we create. We can make sure the frequency never shifts toward the dangerous range. We can monitor for any signs of entity activity." Solara approached the group. Her colors were bright and cheerful. "I have spoken with the Vrexian delegation. They want to partner with humanity on dark matter research. Other species are interested too. You have opened a door, Captain Grant. What happens next will depend on how carefully everyone walks through it." Lisa looked out a window at the stars. She thought about the dark matter entities, invisible and unknowable, existing in spaces between spaces. She thought about the architects, destroyed by their own arrogance. And she thought about humanity, young and reckless but willing to learn. The galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had proven that dark matter technology was possible. They had made contact with beings no one else had been able to reach. And they had earned the right to use that technology as long as they respected the rules. Some species would admire them for it, others would fear them, but all of them would remember the day humanity spoke with the darkness and came back with permission to travel through it. Lisa smiled. She had done what she set out to do. She had saved humanity's dark matter program, and she had learned something important about the universe. There were things out there stranger than anyone had imagined. Things that demanded respect, not conquest. As long as humanity remembered that lesson, they would be safe. They could explore the stars using dark matter drives. They could expand their civilization across the galaxy. They could stand equal with the oldest and wisest races. But if they ever forgot that lesson, if they ever tried to cross the boundaries the entities had set, then they would learn the same terrible truth the architects had learned 3,000 years ago. Some forces in the universe were not meant to be controlled. Some mysteries were not meant to be solved. And some darkness was best left untouched, respected from a distance, and used only with the permission of those who dwelled within it. 6 months had passed since Lisa Grant stood before the Galactic Council. 6 months since humanity received permission to use dark matter technology. 6 months since everything changed. But change was not always comfortable. Lisa stood in the shipyard orbiting Mars and watched workers finish the last of the new dark matter fleet. 12 ships, each one capable of crossing the galaxy in weeks instead of years. They were beautiful, sleek, and powerful. They represented humanity's future among the stars. They also represented humanity's growing problem. "Captain," a voice said behind her, "we have another incident to report." Lisa turned to see Commander Alan Price. He was the head of security for the entire dark matter program. His job was to make sure nobody broke the rules the dark matter entities had set. His job was getting harder every day. "What happened this time?" Lisa asked. Alan handed her a data pad, a research team on Europa. They were studying the dark matter drive on the test ship. They decided to try a new frequency, just to see what would happen. Lisa felt her stomach sink. "What frequency?" 7.1 terahertz, Alan said quietly. Lisa closed her eyes. The architects had used 7.3 terahertz. That was the frequency that attracted the dangerous dark matter entities, the frequency that led to their destruction. Human scientists were supposed to stay far away from that range. They were supposed to use 9.2 terahertz and nothing else. "What happened to the research team?" Lisa asked. "They are alive," Alan said, "but they are not well. 3 of them are in medical care. They claim they heard voices, saw things that were not there. The doctors say their brain patterns have changed. They might never fully recover." Lisa looked out at the ships. "How many people know about this?" "Just us and the medical staff," Alan said. "But Captain, this is the 4th incident in 2 months. Scientists keep pushing the boundaries. They want to understand the dark matter entities. They want to study them. And every time someone tries, bad things happen. We need to tell the council," Lisa said. Alan shook his head. "If we tell them, they will shut down the entire program. They will take away our dark matter technology. Everything we worked for will be gone." Lisa knew he was right. The council was already nervous about humanity. Some alien species thought humans were too reckless, too curious, too willing to take risks. If they learned that human scientists kept breaking the rules, they would see it as proof that humanity could not be trusted. "But if we do not tell them and something worse happens," Lisa said, "we lose everything anyway. Plus, we put the entire galaxy at risk." Before Alan could respond, an alarm went off. It was not the gentle beeping of a minor alert. It was the harsh wailing sound that meant emergency, real emergency. Lisa ran to the nearest control panel. Alan was right behind her. On the screen, she saw something that made her blood run cold. One of the new dark matter ships, the Infinity's Dream, had just activated its drive, but it was not using the safe frequency. The sensors showed it operating at 7.4 terahertz, right in the danger zone. "Get me a connection to that ship," Lisa shouted. Now, a technician worked frantically at his console. "Captain, they are not responding. The communication system is active, but nobody is answering." Lisa grabbed a microphone. "This is Captain Grant to the Infinity's Dream. Shut down your dark matter drive immediately. You are operating at a forbidden frequency. Respond." Silence. Then the sensors started showing something else, something that should not be possible. The space around the Infinity's Dream was changing. Dark matter was gathering, forming patterns, creating shapes that looked almost alive. Alan stared at the screen. "Captain, are those the entities?" Lisa did not answer. She was already running toward the docking bay. She knew what she had to do. Someone had to get on that ship and shut down the drive manually before the dark matter entities did what they had done to the architects. "I need a pilot," Lisa called out as she ran. "Someone who can get me to the Infinity's Dream fast." A young woman stepped forward. "Lieutenant Bate Carter, ship pilot. I can get you there in 5 minutes." "Do it," Lisa said. They climbed into a small transport ship. Bates' hands flew across the controls. The ship launched from the docking bay and accelerated toward the Infinity's Dream. Through the viewport, Lisa could see the dark matter patterns growing stronger around the larger ship. They looked like tentacles reaching out from another dimension. Bates saw them too. Her face went pale. "Captain, what are we flying into?" "Something dangerous," Lisa said, "but we do not have a choice. If we do not shut down that drive, everyone on that ship will die. Maybe everyone in this entire system." Bates nodded and pushed the engines harder. They reached the Infinity's Dream 3 minutes later. The ship looked normal from the outside, but Lisa could feel something wrong. A pressure in her head. A sense of being watched. The dark matter entities were close. Very close. "I am taking us to the airlock," Bates said. "But Captain, I do not think this is a good idea. Maybe we should call for backup." "There is no time," Lisa said. "By the time backup arrives, it will be too late." They docked with the Infinity's Dream. Lisa put on her helmet and checked her equipment. She had a tool kit, a portable computer, and a weapon. She hoped she would not need the weapon, but she brought it anyway. The airlock opened. Lisa stepped into the Infinity's Dream and immediately knew something was very wrong. The lights were flickering. The air felt thick and heavy, and she could hear a sound, low and constant, like someone humming in another room. She moved through the corridors toward the engine room. The ship was empty, or it seemed empty, but Lisa kept feeling like someone was walking behind her. Every time she turned around, nobody was there. The engine room door was open. Inside, Lisa found the source of the problem. 3 scientists were standing around the dark matter drive. Their eyes were closed. Their mouths were moving, but no sound came out, and the drive was pulsing with energy, operating at full power. Lisa recognized one of the scientists. His name was Dr. Peter Lane. He was a brilliant physicist. He was also known for pushing boundaries, for asking questions that made other people uncomfortable. "Peter," Lisa called out, "can you hear me?" Peter's eyes opened, but they were not his eyes anymore. They were black, completely black, like looking into deep space. "We can hear you," Peter said, but his voice was wrong. It sounded like many voices speaking at once. "We have been waiting for you, Captain Grant." Lisa felt ice in her veins. "You are the dark matter entities. We are many things," the voices said through Peter. "We are old. We are patient. We are curious. We watched your species make contact with us at the Erebus Rift. We gave you permission to use our realm for travel. We thought you understood the rules." "We do understand," Lisa said. "These scientists broke the rules. Not all of humanity, just a few people who did not listen." The other 2 scientists opened their eyes. They were also black. The entities were speaking through all 3 of them now. "This is the 4th time," the voices said. "4 times your people have used forbidden frequencies. 4 times they have tried to study us, to understand us, to trap us. You sound like the architects before they fell." Lisa forced herself to stay calm. "We are not like the architects. We made a mistake. We will fix it. Please let these people go. I will shut down the drive. I will make sure this never happens again." The voices were quiet for a moment. Then Peter took a step toward her. "You cannot make such promises. Your species is young and curious. You want to understand everything. You want to control everything. That is why the architects failed. That is why you will fail." Lisa felt anger rising in her chest. "No," she said firmly. "We are different. Yes, we are curious. Yes, we make mistakes, but we also learn, we change, we adapt. Give us a chance to prove it." The entities made Peter tilt his head, like a puppet on strings. "Why should we believe you?" "Because I am asking you to," Lisa said. "Because I came here alone to fix this problem. Because I am willing to risk my life to protect both humanity and you. That has to mean something." Lights in the engine room flickered. The dark matter drive pulsed faster. Lisa could feel the pressure in her head building. The entities were considering her words. Finally, the voices spoke again. "Very well, we will give you one more chance. But understand this, Captain Grant. If your species breaks the rules again, we will not wait. We will not negotiate. We will remove humanity from our realm. Permanently." The black faded from the scientists' eyes. They collapsed to the floor, unconscious but breathing. And the dark matter drive began to power down on its own. Lisa ran to the control panel. She made sure the drive was completely shut off. Then she checked on the scientists. They had pulses. They were alive, but she did not know if they would ever be the same. She activated her communication device. Alan, this is Lisa. Send medical teams to the Infinity's Dream and prepare an emergency meeting. We need to talk to the Council. Now, 3 hours later, Lisa stood before the Galactic Council again. This time she was not confident. This time she was scared. The High Counselor looked at her with disappointment. You told us humanity would follow the rules. You promised that your dark matter technology would be used responsibly. It has been only 6 months and already we see 4 major violations. I know, Lisa said. I have no excuses. Some of our scientists did not take the warning seriously. They thought they could study the dark matter entities safely. They were wrong. Commander Helen Chase stood up. This is exactly what we feared. Humanity is too reckless, too arrogant. You should never have been given access to dark matter technology. Solara, the Vrexian scientist who had helped Lisa before, spoke up. But Commander, humanity also fixed the problem. Captain Grant risked her life to shut down the dangerous frequency. She negotiated with the entities and prevented a disaster. That shows responsibility. It shows desperation, Helen said. They created the problem in the first place. Lisa stepped forward. You are right. We created this problem. And that is why I am here to propose a solution, not just for humanity, for everyone. The counselor raised one hand. Explain. Lisa took a deep breath. The issue is not that humans are uniquely reckless. The issue is that we do not have enough safeguards. We gave powerful technology to individual scientists and trusted them to follow rules they did not fully understand. That was a mistake. So I propose we create a new organization, a Galactic Dark Matter Authority. It would include members from every species interested in dark matter technology. It would set standards, monitor all dark matter drives, and ensure that nobody, human or alien, breaks the rules again. The chamber was silent. Aliens looked at each other. Some seemed intrigued. Others seemed skeptical. Ambassador Kelvin Shaw stood up from the human delegation. The counselor, if I may. Captain Grant's proposal has merit. If we create shared oversight, then all species can use dark matter technology safely, and all species share the responsibility for following the rules. But why should we trust humanity to lead such an organization? A delegate from the Thorian Collective asked. You have proven you cannot control your own people. I am not asking humanity to lead it, Lisa said. I am asking for all of us to lead it together. Every species that wants to use dark matter technology should contribute, share knowledge, share resources, share the burden of keeping everyone safe. Solara's colors brighten. This could work. If every species has representation, if every dark matter drive is monitored, if violations are dealt with immediately, then the entities might accept it. They might trust that we can police ourselves. Helen looked unconvinced. And what happens the next time someone breaks the rules? What if it is not humans? What if it is one of our species? Then the consequences are the same, Lisa said. No exceptions, no special treatment. Anyone who violates the agreements loses access to dark matter technology. Their ships are grounded. Their research is shut down, period. The counselor thought for a long time. Finally, he spoke. This is a radical proposal, but perhaps a necessary one. Very well. We will create this Galactic Dark Matter Authority. Every member species of the Council may nominate representatives. We will establish protocols. We will monitor all dark matter activity. And Captain Grant, since this was your idea, you will serve as the first director. Lisa felt surprise wash over her. Me. But I thought you said no species should lead alone. You will not lead alone, the counselor said. You will work with a council of representatives from every participating species. But you will be the director because you have proven something important. You are willing to acknowledge when your species makes mistakes. You are willing to fix those mistakes even at personal risk. And you are willing to share power with others. Those qualities are rare. We need them in a leader. Lisa nodded slowly. I accept, but I will need help, a lot of help. Solara stood up. The Vrexian Empire offers its full support. I will serve as the science advisor. Helen was quiet for a moment. Then she stood as well. The Corvaxian military will provide security personnel. If we are doing this, we do it properly. One by one, other delegates stood. The Meridians offered their diplomatic expertise. The Zephyr Collective offered their advanced sensors. The Thorians offered their data analysis systems. Within an hour, the framework for the Galactic Dark Matter Authority was taking shape. Lisa felt overwhelmed but also hopeful. Maybe they could make this work. Maybe they could turn a near disaster into something positive. The meeting adjourned. As Lisa left the chamber, Ambassador Kelvin caught up with her. "That was impressive. You turned them from wanting to shut us down to creating a whole new galactic organization." "I had no choice," Lisa said. "If I did not offer a solution, they would have taken away everything. Now at least we have a chance." "More than a chance," Kelvin said. "You created a framework for cooperation. Different species working together to use dark matter safely. That is bigger than just saving the human program. That is changing how the galaxy works." Lisa hoped he was right. The next 3 months were chaos. Lisa worked 18-hour days setting up the Galactic Dark Matter Authority. She coordinated with dozens of alien species. She helped write safety protocols. She trained inspectors. She established emergency response procedures. Alan Price became her deputy director. Bate Carter, the pilot who had flown Lisa to the Infinity's Dream, became the head of the response team. Dozens of humans and aliens joined the organization. They worked from a new station built specifically for the Authority, orbiting a neutral star system. The most difficult part was dealing with the scientists who had caused the problems. Dr. Peter Lane and his colleagues recovered from their encounter with the dark matter entities, but they were changed. They could still function, but they reported feeling watched all the time, feeling like something was always just at the edge of their perception. Lisa visited Peter in his recovery room one day. He looked tired and older than he should. "I am sorry," Peter said. "I thought I knew better. I thought I could study them safely. I was wrong." Lisa sat down beside his bed. "Why did you do it? You knew the rules. You knew what happened to the architects." Peter looked out the window at the stars. "Because I am a scientist. My whole life I have studied things nobody understood. I have found answers to impossible questions. When I heard about the dark matter entities, I thought they were just another mystery to solve. I forgot that some mysteries are mysteries for a reason." He turned to look at Lisa. "What they showed me when they were in my head. Captain, the universe is so much stranger than we imagine. The dark matter entities exist in dimensions we cannot even perceive. They experience time differently. They think in ways that would break human minds. I only saw a tiny fraction of what they are, and it nearly destroyed me." Lisa felt a chill. "Are you saying we should not use dark matter at all?" "No," Peter said. "I am saying we should use it the way we agreed, for travel, for energy, but not for understanding. Some things are not meant to be understood. Some boundaries exist for good reasons." Lisa left the room feeling both sad and relieved. Sad that Peter had suffered. Relieved that he had learned the lesson. But not everyone learned the same lesson. 2 weeks later, Lisa received an emergency call. A ship from the Zephyr Collective had been caught using a forbidden frequency. They had been trying to create a sensor that could detect dark matter entities. They wanted to study their movements, their patterns, their behavior. The ship had been found drifting in space. All crew members were alive but catatonic. Their eyes were open, but they did not respond to any stimulus. The doctors said their brains were still active, but they seemed to be experiencing something beyond normal perception. Lisa traveled to the medical facility where the crew was being treated. She stood in a room full of aliens lying in beds, staring at nothing. It was horrifying. Solara joined her. "This is worse than what happened to the human scientists. These people may never come back." Lisa felt anger and frustration. "We created the Authority to prevent this. How did they get around the safeguards?" Solara checked her data pad. They registered their drive as operating at 9.2 terahertz. But they built a secondary device hidden in the cargo bay. It operated at 7.5 terahertz. Our inspectors did not catch it during the routine check. "So they lied," Lisa said. "They deliberately hid their experiment." "Yes," Solara said quietly, "and now they have paid the price." Lisa looked at the catatonic crew members. "This cannot happen again. We need better inspections, more thorough checks, and we need consequences that are severe enough to deter anyone from trying." "What kind of consequences?" Solara asked. Lisa thought for a moment. "Any species that violates the dark matter protocols loses access for 10 years. No exceptions. No appeals. If your people break the rules, your entire civilization loses the right to use dark matter technology for a decade. Solara's colors dimmed. That is harsh. It punishes an entire species for the actions of a few. Good, Lisa said. That means every species has an incentive to police their own people, to make sure their scientists follow the rules, to create their own internal safeguards. We cannot inspect every ship every day. We need the species themselves to take responsibility. It was a hard decision, but Lisa took it to the Authority Council. After much debate, they agreed. The new rule went into effect immediately, and it worked. When the Zephyr Collective learned they would lose dark matter access for 10 years because of one rogue ship, they were furious. But they also took action. They shut down all their dark matter research programs. They recalled all their ships for full inspections. They implemented strict oversight procedures. Other species saw what happened and took note. Nobody wanted to be the next civilization to lose access. Internal regulations became stricter. Violations became rarer. 6 months after the authority was created, Lisa gave her first status report to the Galactic Council. She stood before the same aliens who had nearly shut down humanity's dark matter program and told them about the progress. We have inspected over 500 dark matter-equipped ships, Lisa said. We have found 12 violations. All were dealt with according to our protocols. 3 species lost temporary access to dark matter technology. The violations have decreased by 70% over the last 3 months. The High Counselor nodded. This is good progress. But Captain Grant, there is a question we must ask. Have the dark matter entities responded to our efforts? Do they accept this new system? Lisa hesitated. We do not know. The entities have not communicated with us since the incident on the Infinity's Dream, but there have been no disappearances, no attacks, no signs of their displeasure. We interpret that as acceptance. Or patience, Commander Helen said. They may be waiting to see if we truly change our behavior. That is possible, Lisa admitted. Which is why we must remain vigilant. The authority is not just about preventing violations. It is about demonstrating to the entities that we can be trusted, that we respect their boundaries, that we deserve to travel through their realm. Solara stood up. I have been studying the patterns of dark matter in areas where our ships travel frequently. The entities seem to be avoiding those routes. They are giving us space. Literally. That suggests they are accepting our presence as long as we follow the rules. This brought murmurs of approval from the delegates. The counselor spoke again. Very well. The Galactic Dark Matter Authority has proven its worth. You will continue your work, Captain Grant, but remember you carry a great responsibility. If the entities lose patience with us, if they decide we are too dangerous, the consequences will not fall on one species or one ship. They will fall on everyone. I understand, Lisa said. We will not fail. But in her heart, Lisa knew it was not that simple. She was trying to change the behavior of entire civilizations. She was trying to enforce rules on species that had been independent for thousands of years. And she was doing it all while walking a tightrope, knowing that one major mistake could bring disaster. That night, Lisa could not sleep. She sat in her office on the authority station and looked at reports, inspection schedules, training programs, emergency protocols, so much work, so much responsibility. A soft knock came at her door. Bate Carter entered carrying 2 cups of coffee. Thought you might need this. Lisa accepted the cup gratefully. Cannot sleep either. Bate sat down. I keep thinking about those Zephyr crew members, the ones who are still catatonic. Nobody knows if they will ever wake up. I know, Lisa said. I think about them too, and about Peter Lane, and about all the other people who have been hurt because we are playing with forces we do not understand. Bate was quiet for a moment. Do you think we should stop? Just abandon dark matter technology altogether, go back to slower ships and accept our limitations? Lisa thought about the question. Part of her wanted to say yes, to avoid the risk, to keep everyone safe. But another part of her knew that was not realistic. We cannot stop, Lisa said. Even if humanity gave up dark matter, other species would not. And without the authority, without oversight, the violations would be worse. At least now we have a system. We have rules. We have consequences. It is not perfect, but it is better than nothing. Bate nodded. I hope the entities see it that way. Me too, Lisa said. 1 year after the Galactic Dark Matter Authority was created, something unexpected happened. A message arrived at the authority station. It was not transmitted through normal channels. It appeared directly on Lisa's computer screen, bypassing all security systems. The message was simple. We have been watching. You have kept your promise. The violations have decreased. The boundaries are respected. We acknowledge your efforts. Lisa stared at the message. Her hands were shaking. It was from the dark matter entities. They were communicating again, and they were approving of what the authority had done. She called an emergency meeting. Alan, Bate, Solara, and representatives from a dozen species gathered in the conference room. Lisa showed them the message. "This is extraordinary," Solara said. "The entities have never acknowledged a governmental organization before. They have never expressed approval of any system we created." "What does it mean?" Alan asked. "It means we are doing something right," Lisa said. "It means they trust us, at least a little bit." "Should we respond?" Bate asked. Lisa thought carefully. "Yes, but we need to be humble. We need to thank them for their patience. And we need to commit to continuing our efforts." She composed a message, short and simple. "We thank you for your trust. We will continue to respect your boundaries. We ask only for your continued patience as we learn to share your realm responsibly." She sent the message into the dark matter network, not knowing if it would be received or answered. 2 hours later, another message appeared. "Your species is young. You make mistakes, but you also adapt. You learn. You show wisdom that the architects lacked. Continue this path. We will allow it." Lisa felt tears in her eyes. They had done it. They had earned the trust of beings that existed beyond normal reality. They had proven that humanity and the other galactic species could use dark matter responsibly. She shared the message with the Galactic Council. The response was overwhelming. Species that had been skeptical of the authority now offered their full support. Resources flooded in. More inspectors were hired. Better monitoring systems were developed. The dark matter fleet grew, not just human ships but vessels from dozens of civilizations. They crossed the galaxy in weeks, exploring new worlds, establishing new trade routes, connecting distant cultures. And through it all, the authority maintained its vigilance. Inspections continued. Protocols were followed. Violations were rare and swiftly punished. 2 years after that first message from the entities, Lisa stood on the bridge of a new ship. It was called the Unity, built by a consortium of 12 different species. It was the first ship designed from the ground up to serve the authority, with advanced monitoring systems and the ability to respond to emergencies anywhere in the galaxy. Lisa had been promoted from director to high director. She now oversaw not just the authority, but the entire network of dark matter governance. It was exhausting work, but it was also rewarding. As the Unity launched from its construction dock, Lisa looked out at the stars and thought about how much had changed. Humanity had gone from being nearly quarantined to leading a galactic organization. They had gone from being seen as reckless to being trusted with great responsibility. But Lisa never forgot the lessons learned. She never forgot Peter Lane, lying in a bed after his encounter with the entities. She never forgot the Zephyr crew, still catatonic, lost in dimensions beyond comprehension. She never forgot how close they had come to disaster. "Captain," Bates said from the helm, "we are receiving our first mission. A ship in the outer rim is showing unusual dark matter readings. They need us to investigate." Lisa sat down in her command chair. "Set course. Maximum speed. And Bate, make sure our own drive is operating at exactly 9.2 terahertz. Already checked, Captain. We are well within safe parameters." "Good," Lisa said. "Let us go do our job." The Unity jumped into dark matter space. The journey would take 3 days at maximum speed. 3 days traveling through a realm inhabited by beings humanity barely understood. 3 days trusting that the agreements would hold, that the boundaries would be respected, that the wisdom earned through painful mistakes would keep everyone safe. Lisa knew that the galaxy would always fear humanity's dark matter fleet, not because the ships were weapons, not because they were fast, but because they represented something more fundamental. They represented humanity's refusal to accept limits. Their drive to explore, their willingness to take risks, but Lisa also knew that fear could be managed, trust could be earned, and responsibility could be shared. The dark matter entities watched from their invisible realm. They saw the ships passing through, respecting the boundaries, following the rules. They saw different species working together. They saw young civilizations learning wisdom. And in their own way, beyond human understanding, the entities were pleased. They had found neighbors they could tolerate. Perhaps in time they might find neighbors they could trust completely. But that was a question for the future. For now the balance held, the boundaries were respected, and the galaxy continued to turn, with humanity playing a new role, not conquerors, not explorers without limits, but responsible stewards of a technology that connected worlds and bridged the vast distances between the stars. Lisa smiled. It was not the future anyone had expected, but it was a good future. A future worth protecting. A future built on hard lessons, honest mistakes, and the courage to do better. The Unity traveled on through the dark, carrying the hopes of many species, watched by entities beyond counting, moving toward a galaxy where fear and trust could somehow coexist. The end.